Hey Facebook, it's Jennifer Burke, editor of PolitiStick.com. It's been a while. I'm back. I need to try to do these more often, but you know, this week starts the Senate or the confirmation hearings for Judge Neil Gorsuch to become the next associate on the Supreme Court, and we're also coming off this weekend with this big controversial attack by Trump, the establishment, and people on Team Trump of the House Freedom Caucus. There's so much going on right now. I wanted to talk about both those things. But it's interesting. When it comes to Neil Gorsuch, it's Democrats wish that things such as video and the internet didn't exist because it catches them so frequently in their hypocrisy. So I just got off Newsmax, and after my Newsmax hit, I was talking with my husband Matthew, who works with me and helped found PolitiStick with me as well, about Neil Gorsuch. And he reminded me that when Clarence Thomas was confirmed, he was confirmed with 52 votes. There was no thing called a nuclear option. He was confirmed. I just saw a story in the New York Times. He was confirmed with 52 votes. You don't need 60 votes. I'm frustrated that Fox News is pushing Chuck Schumer's narrative, just like CNN and MSNBC, that he needs 60 votes. We're going to do the filibuster. We're going to stop him from getting 60 votes. Well, he doesn't need 60 votes. He doesn't. I mean, there's already been precedent set. Clarence Thomas was confirmed to the Supreme Court with 52 votes. And Republicans have that handily, especially with 3 Democrats who have said that they are going to vote for him. It's disturbing to me that you have Democrats like Kamala Harris in California who said that Neil Gorsuch's history disturbs her basically because he follows the law. If that's not a clear indication that Democrats want a lawless society, I have absolutely no idea what is. No wonder they constantly support anarchists like Occupy Wall Street and Black Lives Matter. In addition, if you're watching any part of the hearings right now, you hear Democrats bringing up how unfairly Merrick Garland was treated. He was just treated unfairly. Some Democrats think the seat should just sit open for the entire 4 years of Trump's presidency because they said Merrick Garland was given a raw deal. So I recall, now the networks don't want to talk about this, but this is the truth, and I'm going to look down because I want to read part of this. There were many Democrats that were in opposition to a Republican president nominating anyone to the Supreme Court in their final year of the presidency, and one of the ones who went on record in 1991, was it? 1992. Was none other than Barack Obama's former sidekick and Vice President Joe Biden. When Joe Biden was a senator, there was no open Senate seat. There wasn't. But Joe Biden felt so strongly about this that he decided to go on the Senate floor and make the case that George H.W. Bush, who was president at the time, should not be able to nominate anyone to the Supreme Court should someone resign, something happen, whatever. This is the words of Joe Biden, and I would recommend that Democrats who are constantly bringing up what a raw deal Merrick Garland got in their eyes, that they need to listen to their former vice president. I'll read a little bit of what he said for their benefit. It is my view that if a Supreme Court justice resigns tomorrow or within the next several weeks, or resigns at the end of the summer, President Bush should consider following the practice of a majority of his predecessors and not name a nominee until after the November election is completed. There was no vacancy at all, but, he wanted to make that argument. He said that the Senate should refuse to act. It is my view that if a president goes the way of Presidents Fillmore and Johnson and presses an election year nomination, the Senate Judiciary Committee should seriously consider not scheduling confirmation hearings on the nomination until after the political campaign season is over. That sounds an awful lot to me like arguments that Republicans were making when we lost the great Justice Antonin Scalia, and Republicans said, you know what, we need to wait until after the election, see what happens. If after the election, if Hillary Clinton were to win, Barack Obama, can push forward his nominee or let her pick. But if not, then it's an indication, then the incoming president should be able to be the one that makes the pick. So Joe Biden eloquently, shockingly enough, made the case for why Merrick Garland should not have gotten a consideration or any hearings or anything back in 1992. Now, Democrats play this game where they say, I was wrong to say that back then. Well, the fact of the matter is you did. Not only did he say that, but many Democrats have said similar things throughout the years. They just don't want to accept the fact that they're being rejected. Except from the far left people on the coast, they're being rejected by America. There's a reason they've lost over 1,000 legislative seats throughout the country, why they barely hold any governorships. They're being rejected. Americans see their game and see how they manipulate for power's sake, and they work one group and then move on from that group, and they think they have them in their little pocket, and then move on to someone else. This is why we see Democrat mayors caring more about illegals and wanting to be sanctuary cities, and Democrat presidents of colleges wanting to be sanctuary campuses, and just, I guess, screw the Americans and their safety and security, and screw any rule of law. Why should any rule of law matter? So, Democrats, take heed to your own vice president's words back from 1992, because and please stop bringing up Merrick Garland. And please don't say, okay, we'll give you him. I've heard this before. We'll give you Gorsuch as long as if there's another opening, Trump nominates Merrick Garland. You don't have the power to say or do that. You don't have that power. And we have an article up on PolitiStick from a couple of weeks ago that my husband, Matthew Burke, wrote, with Mike Lee saying when Harry Reid did away with the filibuster, he blew it up for everything. He blew it up for everything when he did away with it. See, Democrats don't like history because typically it doesn't look well on them. And so then, now that brings me to, since I'm talking about Mike Lee, I know he's in the Senate, but he's one of our strong constitutionalists that really fights for freedom in D.C. for us. I don't understand the tweet that Trump did against the House Freedom Caucus. I just don't get it. And then the tweet that he did this morning. So he basically threatened the House Freedom Caucus, saying that we need to defeat them and the Democrats. Really? You're going to put the House Freedom Caucus, constitutionalists, some of them, more well-grounded in their liberty scores from Conservative Review than others, on the same par as Democrats who only want you to succeed if you push forward their far left progressive agenda. And Donald Trump, President Trump, I implore you, remember when Paul Ryan was kicking you to the curb, House Freedom Caucus members were not. They were defending you. They were supporting you. I heard a caller on a radio show the other day. I was listening to Todd Herman. Shout out to Todd Herman from Seattle. And a caller called in, and Todd Herman asked him, so tell me, what were the conservative parts of Swamp Care, Rhino Care, Ryan Care, Obamacare 2.0, whatever you want to call it? Give me one conservative part to it. And the guy said, well, it let you buy insurance across state lines. No, it didn't. We were promised that. We've been promised that for 7 years from the Republican Party. We've been told by the Republican Party that is the one thing that will drive costs down. It will drive costs down to open up competition. It's not in Ryan Care at all. And they say, we need to roll it out in 3 parts. Why? You've got the House, you've got the Senate, you've got the presidency. Why roll it out in 3 parts? And it makes you wonder, back in 2015, and over 50 times between Obamacare's becoming law due to nuclear option and reconciliation, and now Republicans actually voted to repeal Obamacare, but I guess that was just theater. I guess it was all political theater because they knew Barack Obama would veto it. And now that they have a president in there who won't veto it, they won't vote yes on the very thing they voted yes on just a little while ago. So Republicans, Paul Ryan, Reince Priebus, tell us, what in the world's going on? Are you playing us? Are you playing us for fools? Do you think you're going to be able to steamroll the House Freedom Caucus like Nancy Pelosi steamrolled her members, it's not going to happen. You're not going to steamroll Justin Amash. You're not going to steamroll Thomas Massey. You're not going to steamroll Jim Jordan. It's not going to happen. They're going to fight back. They're going to push back. Why? Because they are principled. And they want you guys to do what you said you'd do. And by the way, there are lots of moderates that opposed Ryan Kerr. You didn't hear about them, though. Why? Because the establishment Republicans have one huge thing in common with Democrats and their allies in the media, and that is they want to destroy conservatives. They think conservatives' insistence on a limited constitutional government and government to stay within their constitutional means is a danger because they like big government. They like an overgrowth of government. Why? Because it puts them in control and it takes away your freedom. So I stand with the members of the House Freedom Caucus, and President Trump, I urge you, know who your allies are and know those people who are just trying to play you, because you got it kind of in reverse. All right, Facebook, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll try to do this more often. I would like to offer up my prayers. There was a police officer in Harris County, Texas, in Baytown, who was killed. I'm not sure what's going on. I need to check. He was the killer was at large last I saw. So please keep all of our men and women in blue, guys, who risk their lives every day for our protection in our community as they protect and serve us. Please keep them in your prayers that the Lord may keep them safe, and God bless this officer's family. Rest in peace, sir. Thank you for your service. God bless.